Weequawash vowed vengeance on his rival and the fickle maid. To preserve his dignity and prove his prowess, Weequawash stalked off into the hills in search of a panther on the eve of Ayano and Sassacus's wedding. He cornered and killed the beast on nearby Boston Hill, where it is said there were as many rattlesnakes as there were people in Boston. As he returned to the tribe with his kill along the shores of HocoMonco, Weequawash caught a glimpse of Ayano. That evening, Ayano had playfully decided to hide from her friends before her wedding. In her canoe, she glided silently over the lake, every so often inclining her head close to the water to listen for pursuers. Thus Weequawash saw her, outlined in the moonlight. Silently, he laid aside the panther and swam underwater to the canoe. As Ayano leaned dreamily over the side, Weequawash grabbed her by the tresses and pulled her under to a watery grave. A large rock served to sink the canoe and Ayano's lifeless body to the bottom of Lake HocoMonco. Sassacus and his men were searching for Ayano by moonlight when the chief saw his bride and her canoe disappear mysteriously into the murky waters. He was convinced that the evil spirit Habamak had claimed his love, and the young chief sank into a deep despair. When Weequawash returned a few days later with the panther, he accepted the praise, then administered to Sassacus. In his role of second in command, the jealous Weequawash gradually poisoned the chief, and upon his death, assumed his duties. 1 year later, while Weequawash was sitting by Lake HocoMonco's shores, a blue flame appeared over the spot where the murdered Ayano slept. A mysterious canoe skimmed across the lake, and Weequawash felt compelled to board it. It propelled the Indian to the flame that was suddenly transformed into Ayano's image. The next year, the experience was repeated. But this time, the spirit whispered, "Only once more." Weequawash fell into a deep melancholy as another year passed. He gathered his tribe about him on the shores of the lake and confessed to the murders of Ayano and Sassacus. When the ghostly canoe brought Weequawash to the middle of the lake this time, the flame took the shape of the angry Sassacus. Weequawash, in despair, wrapped his cloak about him and disappeared forever amidst a clap of thunder. From that time on, the Indians believed that Habamak lived in the depths of the lake. To appease the angry spirit, whenever they crossed Lake HocoMonco, the Indians would drop a rock at the spot where Ayano was murdered. Years later, when fishermen paddled by, their oars would strike against the mound of stones, a haunting memorial left by the Indians. So you see, it's quite a story. I didn't want you to miss it, seeing the sight. You did a great job.
You did well written.